Okay, let's go. Happy Tuesday in Japan. It's the 3rd of December. I'm doing a video for the 7 Hertz Timeless 2. If you're a subscriber, go ahead and comment below this video, and I'm going to end up sending this Timeless 2 to somebody that is a subscriber on this and the unboxing channel, and also comments on this video. If you actually like the video, give it a thumbs up because I appreciate the engagement. This is a set that was almost released about a year ago, and then it was stopped and halted because there were some issues, and in between then and now they've changed the design, and they've even changed the driver that's on the inside. They've got a more updated driver, whereas the previous Timeless 2 had a driver that was pretty much like everything else out there. As I've said for about 2 years when I started doing Planar Wars videos, all of these drivers are coming from essentially the same two factories, pretty much. They don't have a planar factory in Colorado, for example. So these are all being sourced from the same place. That's not a problem, but when you see prices of varying degrees, keep in mind that the engine is not radically different. Now, having said the water is wet, the obvious stuff, the frequency response graph is, compared to the original, using my mic, which is apples to apples because any variance on the mic is going to be applied to both of these measurements. The sub-bass on the newer version is up, which I welcome. The mid-bass and mids is not much different. The ear gain, which has got that kind of notch, is a little less prominent as far as it's stepping out relative to after 3K. But it's still there, so it's still got the same traits, and a lot of planars do this regardless of price range. And then there's a around 8K spike. I don't really hear it. My dead spot is around 6, so that wouldn't be, I would pick up on that. I think that's related to the coupler measurement a little bit, and maybe a little energy there. It's not something that's jumping out at me. And then after that, it's got a little more late energy. That might be something that you can pick up or not, depending on your age and your hearing ability. Let's go ahead and talk about how this relates to music that we're listening to right now. I got dinged by the last video that I just did. I don't care, Kendrick, take my money. I'm totally cool with it. Actually, I think it's UMG that takes it. I hope it's PG Lang, actually. Starting in the low end, stuff like Peekaboo, GNX, the title track from Kendrick Lamar's latest album, Big Boy Kill Jill. The 808 rolling drops are significant, they're powerful, or the deck mix drops. Sometimes with sets that got a little bit less bass or relatively stable bass, that it might not come across as being as powerful as you're expecting because the genre, and if we're talking about high fidelity, faithful reproduction, usually when you're mixing stuff in a booth or a production facility for a West Coast rapper or for other groups like that, they want to really hit you in the face with the drops, and sometimes it just doesn't come across like that. This set does that, though it's not for bass heads, because it's not really a I guess you could EQ it, but you guys know I don't talk about EQ really, so out of the box it represents the low end like 808's fine, but it's not a bass head set that you stick in your ear and like everything's slamming into you. That this isn't what that does. But they're not trying to do that either. As we get into 4 and 5 string bass guitars, the pulls, the plucks, the releases, the ringing of the string, I think it sounds good. I thought that most of the planars actually play that instrument fairly well. My issues with planars don't really exist in the rhythm section, even though part of that is related to the harmonics of the instruments. I just don't feel like there's any problem. So bass lines, Robert Palmer, Sneaking Sally Through the Alley, Dire Straits, Sultan of Swing, Please Do Not Go by the Violent Femmes. All of those sound really good. They sound snappy, they sound present as they're supposed to. I don't find anything lacking here. Moving to the kick drum by John Bonham, it's the emphatic entrance to a track called When the Levee Breaks. Boom, 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 boom. That's really another faith reproduction type of topic where it's an iconic moment that's been talked about for 50 years, and they've done videos, and there's been misinformation about how they actually did that, dropping mics down a stairwell at Hadley Grange, borrowed equipment from the Beatles or the Who or the Stones. It's like an urban legend because it's such an iconic moment that they're talking about. So when that sounds like a simple kick drum or bass drum, it's not doing it right. It's supposed to really punch you in the face before it all comes in. And this set does convey that. So in the low end, the Timeless 2 is doing fine. There's no issue there. As we move into the mids, which is essentially vocals for a person like me with a library like mine, Chris Cornell, Lane Staley, Nina doing a cover of Blondie, a beautiful cover of Blondie, Heart of Glass. This does well also. The harmonics of the vocals sound on all planars to me. Doesn't matter which set, unless it's very much subdued, like the Let's Shore S08. You really got to put down the upper mids harmonics, that plateau that you see from about where the ear gain is, which is right here. If you push that down, you can kind of suppress what some people find is the offensive part of planar, which is like an etch sound, I guess is what it's like. It's an extra little high frequency presence of the harmonics that is hard to describe, and people say it and describe it in different ways, but it's there. Other people have talked about stage presentation by planars, and I can get what they're saying, but I attribute that more to the way that it's presenting the music is giving kind of psychoacoustic illusions that could be described by different people in different ways. This does show itself in vocals, particularly female vocals, in a way that's better than the original Timeless, but it's still, planars are still planars. So I think that it does vocals well, but there is if you're sensitive to planars in that way and you think that they, in your experience, that planars have a weak spot with the harmonics, that's not changing yet. We're still in 2024, and that hasn't been addressed in whatever way they would do that. I don't know, but that we're still there. As we move into the harmonics and overtones, which is 19 slices of this 20 slice pie, if we're talking about 1,000 hertz, the 1,000 to 1.5 is really fundamentals, pretty much, for most of the instruments in my library. And then the other 19,000 is harmonics and overtones, which is a maker or breaker. Even if you like the sound that's put out, it can really get on you quick as far as fatigue. Even if it does, it creeps up on you sometimes, and then it becomes a set that you can't listen to for more than a brief period of time, and therefore it's not something you listen to a lot, and therefore you let it go. So it's a massive deal breaker. This set does harmonics well, but I'm familiar with so many planars that I don't find it to be a problem, but I'll refer back to let me talk about cymbal crashes and rides, electric guitars, acoustic, and electric with or without distortion pedals. The citation that I always talk about is ELO's album, which has a lot of keyboards, and just everything is really produced in a way that's in your face. It's like loudness wars done intentionally, but without all the degradation, because they're using the digital format, and just that's why people find that to be of lower quality. This isn't that, but it sounds like it's something that was made during that period. It is really up in your face. I wasn't bothered really by this set, but I still did notice that the things that planars, all of them except for maybe the S15 and the S08, all do kind of the same thing. Unless the bass is pushed up and the upper mids are below that by 3, 4, 5 dB, I tend to run into the same thing. This sounds to my ear like a better overall reproduction, because in my head I know it's a newer driver, and I might be making that up. Not intentionally, but like my brain really thinks that. But be aware that that placebo effect of, oh, it's got a new driver, and it's essentially the same thing, but with a new driver. Oh, it does sound better. Like, it does actually sound a little better to me, but it's not enough to say, oh wow, you should go out and buy this. It's competitive. Let me talk about the ranking now. Is it a dumpster fire? No. I think the original one they were going to release was really close to that, so it was a smart move to pull back on it. Hope it was free. For one person in the comments below this video, it's going to be free. I will send it out. And sorry for the slight delay. I had a loss in the family. I won't get into that. Life happens. If you're a pet owner, you know that one of the things that comes with having a pet is the inescapable fact that at some point that they're going to leave. So I won't go into that more, but it wasn't really a good past month. And so some of my stuff slowed down, including sending out some of the stuff that people have won. So thank you for your patience. Coping is working. Yeah, in some ways, yes, because it's a planar. I've convinced myself that the S15 and S08 are really my walkaway planar sets. So you got to do something that'll wow me. So I'm kind of coping a little. Competes with its peers. I would say that since its peers are priced from, I mean, all the way up to 2,000 and plus, using really the same drivers. 64 is using some tech, the resonator. But the engine, the CPU, is really the same all the way down to some of the budget stuff. It's not as different. It's the price would make you think it would be. So because there's such a wide range of peers, I'd say it does compete with its peers that are priced around it, below it, above it. I'd buy it. I'm going to leave it with competes with its peers, and suggest that you get your ears on it or listen to people and get more impressions. There's certainly nothing wrong with it. Is it something you should go after and grab? I don't know your library. I don't know your taste. Did you like the original Timeless? The difference between that and this is subtle. And some of it is in my mind, and I believe because of the new driver, but I can't point to anything or even cite a particular passage where I could say, trust me, listen to this, because that wouldn't even work. I don't know your ears, your hearing level, your preference, the X factor, when you like to crank it up, how long you like to keep it cranked up. I don't know you. So yeah, good job. Good idea to sometimes stop. I don't know if that will hurt the overall long-term sales of the set, but in the end, it's better to put out a better product with your name on it than to rush one out there. So they made a good move, and it is a good product, and it's worth considering. Again, other people's opinions and their libraries, and listen to what they say carefully as it relates to music, because that's what these do. They play back music. So what does this do good and what does it not do well? I think it does the low end fine. I think it does vocals pretty well. You start to hear the etch of planars in the vocal harmonics, and when you start to focus on harmonics of all instruments, it sounds a lot like things that I've heard before, and they all have in common the same type of general tuning in that area using the same type of driver, so it kind of makes sense. I'll let you guys go there. That's it. I will be more busy now as we start to get up into the Christmas season. The Linsole has 14 more hours left, so the previous video I just did is to qualify for the Valhalla that I'll be sending out to somebody. So if you're not aware of that, go check out that video. And you guys have a good day, and I'll probably talk to you in maybe about 2 days. And I am out.